Hi, everybody. It's me, Bonbon623, and my co-host.
Dre Day every day.
And this is Black Nerd Talk. Oh my God, my camera. Okay, we're back. Okay. Sorry. Stop. Oh my God.
Okay.
Okay.
So, oh, yeah, go ahead.
So today we're going to be talking about the state of music in Western music and K-pop music, and the trend that we're seeing that they're kind of doing things for TikTok.
Yeah, and I was saying how to me the TikTok reels, the Facebook reels, the Instagram reels, to me that represents the new radio.
Mhm.
And I remember you saying that it seems like the music, they're trying to make music to fit 15-second clips and things of that nature. And
Mhm.
I'm like, I hadn't noticed it to that degree, but it kind of makes sense with it because when I look at the reels, like that's people's choice music.
Mhm.
So when you're saying that you're noticing, no, because see, me personally, my ear is not technically calibrated to, I guess, the popular consensus because I actually do the digging for all the listening that I do, and for the listeners on your end, I'm more hip hop centric, and
Mhm.
I know you're more widespread with your music intake. So, do you consume any much hip hop, or
Mhm.
just is it just a pinch, or do you do that shit on certain days?
And it depends. I find that I try to keep up with what's going on in the different areas. I don't know who everybody is. There's like a lot of new young people out, and I'm like, I do not know who that is.
It's just for context, it's over 6,000 rappers. Yeah, just for
Oh
context.
my God.
Yeah,
So I try to keep up, but I just, gosh, there's so many new ones.
yeah, and me personally, I think I keep up with roughly probably around 200, 250. That's my data cap though. Like I can't.
Yeah.
I absolutely can't.
I feel like I'm more familiar with the ones that are in the blogs consistently.
The ones that are who?
In the blogs.
Oh, you're talking about the ones with the social media presences.
Yeah.
Pretty much. I mean, I hear the artists talk about, well, I've heard artists talk about in certain interviews that the labels are actually, well, the ones that are on labels, they tell them that they need someone to work their social media, or they need to work their social media, or they need to hire someone to work their social media because the social media presence is such a thing, and impressionability and relatability, or whatever the case may be. It's like that's just the best way to connect with fans. So
Sorry,
I
my
guess.
camera's gonna keep going in and out of focus. Just try to ignore it. I don't know why
Oh, I can't even. I hadn't even noticed it, but I think I just saw.
it's on one today.
Okay. Well, I guess we could start off with before we get into that. Like, what are you actually listening to?
These days, so on Spotify, they made an upside down playlist a couple months back when Stranger Things had just hit for season 4, I think it was. And
Before,
so
what does upside down playlist mean? Cause see, I'm not hip to streaming.
the Stranger Things franchise that just came out a
Yeah,
few months ago with
the new season.
the Upside Down is a place that's in the Stranger Things, and so they made a playlist
Oh,
that represents that. And so it basically takes, God, stop. It basically takes a bunch of songs and puts them in a playlist, and it's like, this is the playlist that you would have if you were in the Upside Down.
oh, okay. So it's kind of music that fits into that. When you said upside down playlist, I frequent the Van store, and they did a big Stranger Things marketing because they had some shoes, and
Uh,
they had it upside down. And I remember walking in because I'm cool with the manager, and I told the lady, I said, "Your sign is upside down." Like, oh, it's supposed to be. It's a Stranger Things thing, and I'm like, "Oh, I don't watch TV, so you know."
yeah, so it basically just takes whatever. Some of the songs are actual gathered from my playlist, and some songs it's just throwing in there.
Just thrown in there. Okay.
So whatever it gives me is what I've been listening to. So it's been a mix
Oh,
of just things.
okay. Yeah, because I think it's a great for me in the hip hop side of things. I think it's a great year. Like Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers from Kendrick Lamar is hands down my favorite album.
Hmm.
Um, well, if I would do my top five, hold on, let's get the accurate list. Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers number one. Spaceships on a Blade number two from Larry June. I don't. You may not have heard of him. Soul Separately from Freddie Gibbs is number three. That man, that Drake and 21 Savage album, Her Loss, that's my number four album. That album slapped way harder than I expected it to.
Mm.
And for my number five, I got Joey Badass 2000. But it's a great year in hip hop. And the thing for me, I never hear my favorite artists in the reels and the stuff like that. And I don't know if it's because they usually play like the younger artists. Like I said, now 21 Savage, I actually like him, but he's not new anymore. Like his class was 2016.
Hmm.
Yeah, so he's moving into the new newer rapper,
Hmm.
you know.
Yeah, because he's still new to me, but I guess he's not
Right.
new.
Yeah, but it's like, yeah, he came out 2016. Like that was his freshman year. It's like, oh, this guy is what's that, 6 years in the game?
Hmm.
So
I have
but
noticed that a lot of the TikTok songs, they'll have like the little snippets, right, that you hear. So when I
mhm.
actually hear the full song, I'll be like, oh, that's that TikTok song.
What's that? Yeah, it's like we don't recognize the music is
Mm.
music. Oh, that's the TikTok record right there.
And I
I
do
know.
love
You
it
know
when
what?
they pick the most catchy part of the song to make the TikTok thing. Because when you hear
Right.
the full song, you're like, oh, well, it's okay. But
It's
it's
okay.
not
Right.
this little 15 section.
I think with what I noticed with the Kendrick, everyone kind of jumped on that Silent Hill record. I don't know if you heard that. I push these niggas off me like hood, push these niggas
Yes.
off me like hood. Yeah, like that was the record that kind of took off with the Kendrick joint when it first dropped. But since I kind of been on a social media detox, I'm kind of Facebook detox because I'm still on Instagram. I kind of don't see and or hear what is consistent. Like when I'm on Facebook, whatever's on TikTok and Instagram, they bring it over to Facebook. And when on that, I kind of can hear more of what people are picking to listen to. So
Mhm.
you're noticing even in the on the K-pop side of things, they're making music that's trying to fit a 15-second window.
Yeah, they do this thing where they'll have little dance challenges. So it'll be the artist that does the song, and they'll get other K-pop artists that are under the same management group or maybe other management groups sometimes. And then they'll do the dance to try to get other people to do it to get that song to trend higher and whatnot. And it's just really,
It's trash. I mean, you gotta call a spade a spade.
yeah, well, especially since they're getting older artists to do it. So when I say older artists, I'm talking like first and second gen, which those artists are our age and
Right.
sometimes like between me and you, right?
Between okay.
So they have them out there doing these little TikTok challenge dances and trying to get people.
So you got people like in their mid 30s doing
Mhm.
16-year-old dances.
Yeah, and it's really interesting because it's like they're established artists. They've been in the game 10 plus years, 15 plus years, and then they have them doing this, which they don't have to because it makes it seem like they're trying to appeal to a younger audience, which they don't need to.
So
They're already established.
so for me, being uninitiated with K-pop, I've seen some of the stuff like on your channel,
Mhm.
and I noticed that they tend to do dances. So is it a thing where they do it when they're younger and when they get older they kind of stop? Or is it always a dance, but the dance is more mature as they get older type thing?
It's always a dance. It just depends on what theme they're going for. So they'll have
Right.
different eras where they're like, this is our dark and sexy era, and then this is our cookie cutter cutesy pop era, whatever. So
Okay, okay,
it'll fit
okay.
whatever they're doing. But you see it more so with the younger groups
Yeah,
than
right. But yeah, so but when the older, so basically, kind of in a overarching sense, just seeing an older artist doing a younger dance is kind of cringy, or is it less cringy in K-pop? Because that seems like a whole different world from
I feel like it is
like
kind of cringy because it would almost be like if they had Belle Biv DeVoe out there doing TikTok dances to promote their songs, and you're like, what's happening? What are you doing?
right. It's like, come
This
on now,
is
it's not. Or you see what's going on with Genuine. I think that was a
yeah.
so like the last thing I saw before I deactivated Facebook was they said that that man had he literally passed out because he did an underwater trick and held his breath too long.
Mhm.
And I remember texting one of my friends. I was like, "Hey, go get your boy off tour because he's
Yeah. It's
yeah,
just getting to a point to where it's less about putting out quality music and like what's going to chart this week, what's
right,
going to chart next week. Like they're looking for charting music rather
charged, right,
than longevity. Like, am I going to be listening to this 10 years from now? Because if not, what are we doing?
not. You know what's funny? I heard Fabulous speak about this, and this was back when I can't remember who that was. That it was an award show, it was years ago, but Fabulous ended up on a meme, and I think it was Designer or Young Thug, and somebody won an award, and the guy was like, and Fab is on the meme, like in his suit, I'm just kind of looking at him. Fab ended up speaking on it, and he was like, kind of like in this social media era, is like everything is so punchline driven that it's like we'll be here at an award show to watch all of these artists win, watch the artists that have worked hard on their craft to win best album, best song, so on and so forth. But a moment like this, it'll get freeze frame and that'll turn into the whole award show. The
Mhm.
way people talk about it. So it's like, with that being said, because bad publicity has been good publicity for so long.
Mhm.
And it's like, what if these guys are going for the bad publicity? Because I'm sitting up thinking, like, make Genuine making news with what he's doing is like, it's bad publicity, but that's probably gonna make somebody say, man, let me go see Genuine and see what he does tonight.
Mhm.
So I just think we're kind of in a weird space altogether when it comes down to what what people are doing, even outside of music, but just what people are doing to get hits or get sales or get attention. And it's
It sucks
I
because
don't know.
everything is so social media driven that if you
Right,
have a business, if you're not constantly promoting on social media, you're not
right,
able to reach anybody. And it makes me
right. That's
mad.
crazy. Like I had a this is slightly off topic, but I had a writing job in 2017, and it was basically we were ghost writers for small businesses with people who've been in business for years, but they don't know how to use social media, but they understand the importance of it, so they pay third parties to write their content. But you kind of try to make it like it's a human posting it as opposed to being so automated, like come in today and get this, that, and the third. It's like you'll do two of those, and then the rest of them will be you share an article that's related to the business too. So it seems like a person is actually. So yeah, and it's like the fact that it's a whole team of ghostwriters, and it's a whole list of businesses from pawn shops to tire shops to mom and pop restaurants, and you know it's just the so like to what you're saying. If you don't have social media,
Not to
if
mention
you're not uber popular,
yeah,
yeah, you're gonna probably say
if it shifted again recently where if you aren't making videos, like short form videos, you're not going to be seen.
what's crazy is there's a logic in the hip hop, and I know 50 Cent talked about this, and this was back in like 2012 when YouTube became like a thing.
Hmm.
We would go to YouTube to hear a song again, and now it's kind of turned into where 50 Cent took it personal to make videos for almost all of the songs he was putting out. So when you go look for the song that you may have heard on the radio, it's like you're not just looking at that still picture
Mm,
for 5 or 10 minutes, well, 3 to 5 minutes, so to speak. So that's a whole thing too. But so that's happening on the K-pops. When you listen, when you're speaking on music, are you kind of speaking more in the K-pop realm? Because when I see your videos, I know it's not all you listen to, but you kind of speak on music as a whole, or are you thinking more hip hop? Cause I'm sorry, more K-pop. Because when I'm thinking music, I'm thinking hip hop. You know what I'm saying?
mm,
Just for context,
I think more in general,
in
but
general, to kind of like
YouTube allows
widespread.
me to put K-pop videos up easier than Western
Right.
music. So
Oh,
I,
okay.
I gravitate towards that.
Right.
But at the end of the day, the music industry is kind of the music industry, and
Right.
K-pop bases its industry off of Western music industry.
Oh, okay.
Um, so
Oh, so they intend to somewhat copy.
somewhat
Somewhat. Okay. Okay.
directly.
Right. I remember you sent me a song and I was like, okay. You know, it's
Like if
like,
it
yeah,
sounds familiar, it's because it is.
right.
So,
Okay.
but yeah, it kind of seems like globally music is chasing whatever the next big thing is instead of just marinating in the
And to bring it over into hip hop, like these younger rappers, like the Lil Babies, the Baby, I can't think of all of these guys, but I've listened to some of their stuff, and their album will sound like now for me as a I used to rap, so I kind of know the process.
Mm,
The album will sound like one night in the studio, like everything they recorded in one night, because the album will be 30 minutes long. It'll be about 12 to 15 songs. The album is 30 minutes long. Some of these songs are 2 minutes and 15 seconds, 1 minute 45 seconds, and one verse. Then you have some features, and it just sounds like 1 or 2 days in the studio. When albums where it seemed like a guy really worked on his project. Like I heard somebody say, I think Kendrick Lamar said that he did over 60 records when he recorded To Pimp a Butterfly to pick 16.
mm,
Like because that was just how he was really trying to craft the story and curate it to perfection.
yeah.
And it just seems like that aspect, there are people doing it on the underground, but it just seems like I don't know who's holding that torch on the mainstream. You know what I'm saying? Because there was a point in time where in the mainstream we had, the Eminems holding it down, the Lupe Fiascos. Well, Kendrick is still mainstream, but it's like, and J. Cole too. But, and I think that JID, I think he's kind of came into his own.
I
But I
love
don't know.
it.
You like JID?
Yeah.
He was kind of hard for me to listen to when I first heard him because he actually sounded so much like the overly dedicated Kendrick Lamar specifically, which was the album Kendrick put out in 2010. Because Kendrick's so dynamic from record to record, he sounds different. So JID sounded like the 2010 overly dedicated Kendrick Lamar. Even had the morning, I call it the morning voice crackle in his voice. Back when I was young, I was so this and the guns and this and different this and this and he get on my own. Like had that kind of voice crackle. But I've heard him on some. I think he's on Joey Badass record. He sounds better now. I should revisit him.
Hmm. I love Jid. That's my baby.
You look
Yeah.
sweet. So, have you by any chance heard the Drake and 21 Savage? That seems
No.
like that would be close. You're not a. I know 21 Savage might be too rough for you, but it seemed like Drake would kind of
I don't
be.
mind Drake. I just
You
don't
know,
love the controversy that's going on around the album right
I
now.
have seen that. Like, what's funny is they showed like a Chicago Bulls basketball announcer
Mm.
just had something to say about the album. I think the album was great, but I'm like, a sports announcer
I don't,
has a negative opinion.
yeah, I just the first thing before I even realized that they had an album out together, they was saying that Drake took shots at Megan and Ice Spice and Serena Williams. And I said, well, that's just gonna be a no for me. I'm not interested. And 21 Savage, he's fine. The only thing I can really notably say about him is he always says 21.
21. 21. That's one of my
That's
favorite
how I
ad
know that
libs.
it's him.
Hey, that's as a rapper, having your ad libs in order and having the signature ad lib, like that's his thing. 21.
When he's
And it's catchy. 21.
21, will you
Yeah.
do something for me?
Yeah. 21.
I don't know
Right.
if you missed the memes on that, but my God.
Yeah. I'll say I don't know what the I don't know what the Megan Thee Stallion thing was about. I think I've heard it. I know him and he popped a shot at Kanye West. You know what? And when I think about it, yeah, Drake did kind of, and I don't know if he's doing that because of the negative response he had to because that last album he put out was supposed to be like, oh, I don't know. Like they said, the people that I know that are Drake fans said that this album wasn't for black people.
Well, I,
Oh,
I liked it though, because it was supposed to be house music, but it was giving more apartment.
apartment. So you telling me it's off-brand house,
Yeah.
so it's apartment. You
Which is
making it
why it's
back.
called Honestly Nevermind, because then when Beyonce came out and gave us what really is house.
What is that? Which one? This recent one?
Hmm.
What is it called?
Renaissance.
Renaissance. Okay,
Alien Superstar is
that's your that's your joint.
what did you like
Did it come out this year or was it last year?
this year?
This year.
Mhm.
Do you have a? I know you don't. I know you're not as in tune with the year as I am. But outside of that, do you have things that came out this year that you're like, I'm really messing with that, or do you stay more in the? I feel like listening to something from 2020 or something from 2018 or something from 92.
I
Just
think the
kind of
latter. Yeah. Besides Beyonce's Renaissance, I think that's the only album that I know for sure came out this year, and I did the whole thing.
okay,
Otherwise, when I do listen to music, it's just like a playlist that I'm choosing. So who knows when that song came out?
got you. Oh, so you don't even really do full albums, really?
I do if it's somebody that I know and I'm interested in.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, yeah. See, I do a lot of well, I do full albums, and I'm all. That's how I always end up missing like the a lot of the individual songs, like because
mhm,
I'm not the guy. Like if I hear a song on a reel and I like it, I keep Shazam on my phone so I can recognize it,
mhm.
but I won't go to the album unless I know the artist.
See,
Like
I
I'm
have a
real
rule for me, and I do this in K-pop too. If I hear a song from a group or an individual or what have you, and I hear like two or three songs that I'm interested in, then I'm like, okay, let me go check out
to
this
check out.
person's discography
Right,
and see if I'm really messing with them. But you gotta catch me a few times. One song isn't.
right. Yeah, I'm the guy where it's like I won't listen to you if you're new, but if you if you feature on my favorite artist joint and you sound good on the song you're featured on,
Mhm.
the fact that I like my favorite rapper and he co-signed you and you did good on the record that I'm hearing, I'll go visit your project from that. So
Yeah.
it's kind of difficult to make it to my ear, except for this kid named Hakeem Ali. I heard him. I don't know. You probably seen him on a reel or something, but he has like the video that's from the 70s, and he was like, Mac Daddy, let me get it started, talk my shit better. Fat nigga on a fraternity. I'm a big stepper. I'm plain Jane. All I rock is designer. Bitches throw pussies at me. All I rock and he's kinda doing like the little 70s dance, got his shirt open. Yeah, have you caught that? It's called Kimi Casanova.
I don't know. Let me see. Let me look it up while you're talking.
Look it up. Yeah. Yeah, look at the Kiwi Casanova video. This came out like at the end of 2020, but I caught wind of it in 2021, and I was like, this guy is rapping. And I actually went to find some projects from him off that one song, but that caught me so far off guard because it's so far outside of
Hmm.
the what's going on a popular scale.
I haven't seen him before.
You have seen him?
Mm-mm.
Oh, you haven't? Okay. Yeah, so like I said, he's definitely on the in the hip hop scene. You probably will end up seeing more of him maybe as he starts gaining more popularity. But
Mhm.
outside of that, you got to really catch me. You got to really be outside of the box to catch my attention.
Got you.
But yeah. So when it comes to the K-pop stuff, do they roll out kind of like American artists where it's like, hey, this album's coming on this day, or does the music just kind of come out and you just grab it?
Oh, they they're OD over there. So the artists will put out like 5 albums a year. So before you even finish digesting one of them, 3 months ago, months will go by and they'll be like, well, here we're on our comeback. And you're like, you were just here. I'm still
Here.
really don't. So they'll have like these big discographies where they're like, they've had 36 albums or something because they put out so much. And it's like,
36.
settle
Jesus Christ.
down.
That sounds like a rapper in his mixtape catalog.
Pretty much. It's
But
insane.
but it would have to be like a prolific rapper like Currency or Lil Wayne or Gucci or 50 Cent. Like those are the prolific guys because other mixtapes, it'll be one mixtape or two mixtapes a year. But
Yeah.
these guys, I remember one year Currency put out a mixtape every month. So yeah.
I know underground rappers do that a lot. I know E40 is constantly putting stuff out.
Man, I think if I'm not mistaken, I don't want to be wrong about this, but I think that guy put out 5 albums in one day. I believe he did.
He just
Yeah,
does
and
nothing
it's
else but
like,
write.
yeah, it's like,
He might
I
be an
respect the,
NPC for real, because but you're not a real person.
yeah, like you gotta
No,
you you gotta be a computer program. Like you're a glitch. Like how do you do it?
just constantly.
Right. I think when I think to myself, I go, I don't want to the work ethic. No question, but I just always kind of wonder what is the objective because I'm like, if you drop, well, maybe he has 5 different sounds and he's thinking about his appeal in 5 different ways. Because I've always thought that maybe you could do two. I kind of like when Nelly did the sweat and suit
Mhm.
because Nelly has the uh I like it when you girl shake it when you but then on the other side he had that no matter what I do, all I think he had those 2 different sounds. So he put out sweat for the upbeat and then suit for the so that made sense. I'm
Mhm.
like 5 albums in a day. I'll be wondering about like what's sales projections, if there are sales projections, how are we going to tour this projects? Are we going to go do one song from each album? Are we going to tour this album this month and that? That has always confused me. I wish I could talk to him specifically or any artist that would choose to drop that much music in one day. I would get it if it was like one album every 2 months.
Mhm.
So it's like you can kind of and then you you just give it more space. It's just like you drop 5 albums, like I'm not gonna hear it everything. But that was me kind of rambling on that idea. But you said, well, I guess when you said the K-pop, they put out like 5 albums a year.
It's
That sounds
absurd because
like
you can't even remember which album came out for real. Because
right.
which one are we talking about? Was it the
So
spring album or the later
so
spring?
we so when you say they do 5 albums like a year, like would that be like they'll do 5 albums in 2021, 5 albums in 2022, and you can expect 5 albums in 2023, or do they take years off or
If a group goes on hiatus, then that's when they're not making music. But if they're actively making music,
You,
then it's
you
some
could expect about
drops like every 3 to 5 months, and you don't
right.
have time to like digest it. So like realistically, a group
Mm,
might put out 2 or 3 albums a year, which still seems absurd to me because we're still like listening to the previous album.
to the front.
Here you are
That,
again.
that makes sense in other genres, but I think, hip hop, they sped the pace of music releasing up so fast that it's like when an album comes out, you're ready for something. Like stuff gets old so fast. That's what I kind of don't like about hip hop. Like the album comes out in like what is it? What's today? Today is the
11/11.
11/11, right? The album that came, the Drake and 21 album is probably old already to somebody because and that came out on the 4th.
Yeah,
Like
well,
like that's how people like because I'm connected to like the hardcore hip hop discussion. It's like,
mhm.
oh, it came out 2 weeks ago. That's old.
Well, that's I feel like that's a different conversation of attention span that we have these.
That that's another thing too. Like that kind of just fits the tone of social media where it's like, hey, this happened this week, and we completely forgot about what happened yesterday.
Yeah, well, that
You
falls
know.
into like us too being content creators. If we made something 4 months ago, they'll be like, "Oh, that's old." They won't watch it.
Right. It's like and I've been kind of feeling guilty myself because like in the middle of October, coming into November, and then Takeoff dying. Rest in peace to Takeoff. Um, that put me in the headspace of thinking about. I had a homeboy that ended up passing away after we graduated, and we weren't on speaking terms. So it reminded me of that, put me in a bad headspace. So I kind of hadn't been putting up videos, and I'm like, I feel kind of guilty as a creator to not, feeding the people that's looking for me. But I'm like, man, I had 80 videos. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's just I think we just kind of got to get it. Well, I ain't gonna say I think we just have to, as people, we have to learn how to slow things down to our pace because the world is 1,000 miles an hour. We have to slow it down ourselves.
Mhm.
So I'm just like, if I lose followers due to not making a video, and it's like I just got one from 6 days ago. Like if that's not enough, there are people that do put up 2 videos every single day. I'm like, I'm not. If this made me income, I probably would. But it's not making me income, and I'm trying to keep it fun as long as I can.
Mhm.
So,
I
but
think
yeah,
that
that's
goes back to the TikTok songs. Like it's less about
yeah,
quality and
it's right. It's about right, and it's like, what can you do right now
yeah.
in these little small incremental moments of trying to stop or trying to top this right now and that right now and that right now, and it just looks like you're watching the Olympics and the guys are running, jump the hurdle, run, jump the hurdle, jump. It just looks like an endless cycle of just people running and jumping hurdles, and who's actually trying to win the race
Yeah. So,
or who's actually trying to run the marathon.
mhm.
So
So here's to hoping that people will focus on the quality of the music that they put out rather than just trying to chart.
yeah, then just are trying to be the next TikTok reel song
Yeah.
or trying to be the
Let
next
music speak
Instagram.
for itself.
What happened?
Let your music speak for
For
itself.
itself, yeah. Let's not do the. I'm trying to drown on stage to get marketing.
Yeah, because they always say, "Oh, it's just an award and it doesn't matter," and they don't. So if they don't get the Music Choice Award or whatever, they're like, "Oh, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter." But I guess it kind of do if you're going to keep chasing these trends.
It's always the battle of the award accolades up against the sales, up
Yeah.
against the now is I guess the money. Everybody's going to find the way to hold themselves up, but at the end of the day, I'm tired of the music suffering because of you know, the tender loving care not being there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I guess that's it for the state of music. But like I said, I'll say hip hop's having a great year when you go all the way down. But I can't speak for no other genres.
Mhm.
So, but until 2 weeks, that'll be it.